The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
And good morning, Kern County. It is 5 a.m. on this Monday morning. I'm Alex Fisher along with Nicole Gitsky. Maddie Jansen has the day off. She's spending some time with family.
Well, this weekend, really hot, but the good news
let's just
this
put it
week,
yeah.
It's going to cool down. It's much nicer out there.
Did you notice it, though, this morning coming in?
Yes.
There's a little bit of a difference in the air.
Because I think on Thursday and Friday, it was about 80 degrees coming into work, and today...
Like literally in the 80s, yeah.
Yeah, it was like 68, and I was like, oh, wow, this is great. I need a little coat or something.
Yeah, we can definitely feel the difference already in the atmosphere this morning. Chief Meteorologist Alyssa Carlson joining us this morning, filling in for Kev, and talking about this cool down that I think we're all excited about. So, Alyssa, last week, above average, much above average. Where are we this week?
Oh, wow. What a difference. And good morning, everyone. We are in for a nice week. In fact, we ended our triple-digit streak. That happened on Saturday, and then we had 6 days of that. Yesterday, we got back to 96. So heat wave number one is over with, and now we are talking about mid-80s. Yes. So really looking at a huge cool down by about 20 degrees. Meanwhile, this morning, waking up to temperatures in the 60s, looking pretty nice outside and feeling like 68 degrees, and that is our actual temperature. Humidity right now at 37%, and our winds are light. We have a cold front on the way, and we're also looking at some clouds down into the Southland. So with that cold front, temperatures are going to continue to cool down. In fact, we may see highs close to 79 degrees by midweek. So wow, what a difference. 9 a.m., 72 degrees at 1 o'clock, 80, very refreshing this afternoon into the upper 80s. So we are going to trim about 10 degrees off of yesterday's high, and in the mountains topping out in the lower 70s. Much more in a cooler work week in your complete pinpoint forecast.
All right, thanks so much for that, Alyssa. Well, breaking overnight, at least one person is dead in a car crash on Highway 58. It happened before midnight. You can see in this video the eastbound traffic backing up. At one point, both directions of the 58 were closed because of the crash. We're still waiting for more information from CHP.
This morning, 2 men are behind bars accused of the killing of a 6-year-old boy in an apparent road rage shooting in Southern California last month. Little Aiden Leos was on his way to kindergarten on May 21st when authorities say a person in another car shot the car his mother was driving. CHP says the shooting stemmed from road rage, and since then, investigators have been searching for a white Volkswagen. And yesterday, officers say they arrested 24-year-old Marcus Anthony Iris and 23-year-old Win Lee at their home in Costa Mesa. Details about what led to the arrests were not disclosed, but they came after a reward for information that climbed up to $500,000. This morning, both men are held on $1 million bail. Aiden's mother said the family is seeking justice.
I want them to pay for what they've done. We all loved him so much.
And over the weekend, the family held a private funeral service for Leos at Calvary Chapel in Yorba Linda. 5:04 now. In the meantime, the manhunt continues for an alleged child killer who escaped jail in April. Law enforcement, including the U.S. Marshals, have been searching for Tyrone Johnson for nearly 6 weeks. Johnson and David Palms escaped from the Lerdo jail back on April 28th. They're accused in the murder of 3-year-old Major Sutton. Court documents say they created dummies to make it look like they were sleeping in their bunks and cut a hole in the roof to escape. Palms was arrested later that day, but Johnson is still on the run. If you see him, do not approach him, but call 911. If you have any information that can help lead to an arrest, you can stay anonymous and call the secret witness line at 322-4040 or the U.S. Marshals at 529-1068.
Well, a mother in Visalia is accused of leaving her toddler alone in a hot car for several hours while tending to a marijuana grow. Police say 28-year-old Westahia Mojica left her 3-year-old daughter in the back seat of her car for up to 3 hours Saturday while temperatures outside were at least 100 degrees. Officials say it was much hotter inside the car. The little girl, Jessica Campos, died. Now all 5 adults who were at home have been arrested for child endangerment, and the mother is also facing involuntary manslaughter charges. 4 children inside the home, ranging in ages from 9 months to 15 years old, were taken into protective custody.
Clinica Sierra Vista is now offering rapid COVID-19 testing and COVID-19 vaccinations. Call 833-278-4584 to make your appointment. But don't delay. Clinica Sierra Vista, putting patients first.
Tonight, the troubled Fairfax School Board will meet once again and interview candidates for a new superintendent. This comes after last week's heated meeting as pressure grows for board president Palmer Moland to resign.
We want to hear from you, but you're not doing it.
Last week, you may remember we told you about roughly 24 people gathering at the board meeting to call for Moland's resignation. This all comes after a recently scathing grand jury report calling the board divided and dysfunctional. The board hired an investigative firm to look into harassment and bullying allegations against Moland. The firm presented its findings to the board and called on trustees to formally censure or rebuke Moland. But Moland, along with trustees Jose Luis Tapia and Alma Rios, threw out a proposed censure resolution, which enraged many in the community. Some members of the community are organizing a recall campaign against Moland, Tapia, and Rios. Tonight and tomorrow night, the board will meet to interview the candidates for superintendent, and then a regularly scheduled board meeting will be held on Thursday.
The Bakersfield City Council is set to meet this morning, continuing the city's annual budget process. City Council members will review budget proposals from 7 department heads for the city, including the Attorney's Office, Parks and Recreation, and Public Works. This is the second and final workshop where each department will present their budget proposals for 2021-2022, the fiscal year. The city expects to adopt a new budget in a meeting next Wednesday, June 16th.
Now to the latest on the coronavirus pandemic in Kern County, as public health reported 22 new cases yesterday. No new deaths were reported. Our death toll is nearly at 1,400 people who have died from this virus. The state reports 42 people are in the hospital, 7 are in the ICU.
Well, if you have a flag you want to get rid of, you can still participate in our annual flag drive. The Veterans of Foreign Wars is collecting old American flags that need to be disposed of in a safe and dignified way. We're accepting donations now through June 13th. Then on June 14th, which is Flag Day, the Veterans of Foreign War will host a special flag disposal ceremony. Welcome back. A local group hosts the Bakersfield Music Awards, aiming to celebrate independent artists and redefine the Bakersfield sound. Event organizers rented the Iron Lily venue in downtown Bakersfield for the event, which they called a red carpet affair. Organizers gave out awards to local independent musicians, many of which fall outside of the Bakersfield sound established by country music legend like Buck Owens and Merle Haggard. Organizers hosted about 30 artists at the event, focusing on hip-hop, pop, R&B, and gospel, as well as country.
And these guys have fans. They have fans. They have people that come watch them play. They're getting thousands and thousands of streams on YouTube and Facebook, and they're really doing well in the city. So it'd be good for us to see some representation for what's actually happening and not just live off the stereotypes or the preconceived notion.
They say they hope the Bakersfield Music Awards will shine a light on the diversity of the local music scene.
The pandemic pulled the plug on a lot of things over the last year. It also pulled the rug out from under people who cut a rug every Wednesday night at the Sons of Herman Hall in Dallas, Texas, as the community navigates how to get back to social swing dancing safely. Noelle Walker and photojournalist Mike Richard look at how dancers have been staying connected while staying apart.
If time is the longest distance between two places,
there's something kind of soothing about this building, and I don't know what it is.
The historic Sons of Herman Hall today,
it's just kind of like home.
Seems far away from the place it was before the pandemic.
Go down the hall downstairs and look at the old pictures. All these people that have spent so much time here.
This past year, time stood still inside the ballroom.
And when I walked in today, felt like I was back. Yeah. So
back in time.
I can see them dancing over there, 200, 300 people in this room.
With a touch of his hand, DJ Jerry Warwick used to lead an entire room of swing dancers.
And just everybody just having a great time. It's just a very energetic atmosphere.
Live bands and Lindy Hop swinging at the Suns every week.
I miss seeing them dance.
The pandemic pulled the plug.
So it was really abrupt.
It was March 11th, 2020.
We left for the night thinking, hey, we'll see you next week.
Instead, the dance floor went dark and the pandemic became personal.
Not long after things shut down, I did actually test positive for the virus.
The coronavirus left Jerry with one lingering symptom.
Quite honestly, this is a big hole in my life. I think when you have so many memories, so many friends, so much fun, it hits you when all of a sudden you miss that place. Yeah.
Miss the connections.
Here we go.
Made in 4/4 time.
Hey everybody, welcome once again to Swingin' Online.
From his dining table DJ booth, Jerry got back in the swing of things.
We're going to be starting off as usual with Don't Get Around Much Anymore. Even though it's not in person, at least it keeps that connection alive. It's not actual touch, but it's close.
Screen to screen instead of cheek to cheek.
There's a song I play every night.
We're gonna have Joy G swinging then.
This is called the Shim Sham.
A 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4.
Everyone dancing in their homes separately, together, marking time.
Where we'll be able to come back into this space and once again, dance and have a good time.
The distance is shorter now, getting back to a time when the only thing at risk of spreading is joy.
I definitely hope it will come back. I'm not ready to give it up yet.
That was Noel Walker reporting.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
In your 17 Business Watch, a local iconic summertime favorite is up for sale. The owners of Snow Shack say the 30-year-old shaved ice business is up for sale. Business management posted on social media saying it wasn't an easy decision to make. The owners thank their employees and their fans from over the years. And the grand opening of the second Dutch Brothers location in Bakersfield is happening this week. The coffee chain will be open at California Avenue and Oak Street this Friday. A third location is under construction off Callaway Drive in Rosedale. Well, first gas, then the food supply. Hackers are targeting America's infrastructure, and the government thinks Russia's protecting them. Tracy Potts joins us with how that will play out when President Biden meets Russia's president next week.
Food, energy, transportation, healthcare, America's infrastructure is at risk.
It is a huge issue, and everyone needs to wake up and up their game in terms of protecting themselves.
We're one step away from cities being plunged into darkness.
Ransomware attacks recently shut down America's largest meat processor and a major East Coast gas pipeline. Congress is considering a law that would require companies to report and set international standards.
There needs to be international repercussions, not simply one-off the United States acting alone.
The FBI believes some of these attacks are originating inside Russia and that the country's doing nothing to stop them. It's on the agenda for President Biden's meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin next week.
You really have to treat Russia like it's virtually a criminal enterprise. They harbor criminals.
The Biden administration is considering using intelligence agencies to not only spy on hackers, but to identify them and strike first. Tracy Potts, NBC News.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.